Hello everybody, we'll get started here in about 3 minutes. Happy Friday. Let's sip on some coffee here. 2 more minutes, everybody. 2 more minutes and we'll get started. Woohoo. Let's get a couple of things adjusted right here and we'll be good to go. Alrighty. Shoot, come on you. Come on screen. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me move my mouse somewhere else. There we go. There we go. Alrighty, welcome to Feature Friday. We got 1 more minute to go and we'll get started with tonight's program. Woohoo. It has been I woke up this morning, everything was covered in snow, about 2 inches. If I had to take a guess, yeah, it was a good 2 inches of snow. It's still there. The sun did come out, so it melted it off. At least the windshield on the car is clean. Oh my goodness. Hope everyone has had a wonderful week. And hopefully I do have, if you look on the schedule, I have 2 more lives, 1 tomorrow night at 6 and 1 Sunday night at 6. Good times. All right, it is 6 o'clock, everybody. Welcome to Feature Friday, and we're going to get started. Tonight is episode 4 of our All Dressed Up Adventures in Wool episode 4. This is what we're working on. This is the actual one we'll be working on tonight on camera. And this is the other companion piece that goes with it. I've got most of the applique done on this one, at least the first stage of applique. And I'm going to move a camera, so you'll see me move this up here before I swap to it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to set up my machine for applique. Let's go to our other camera now. There we go. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you one feature on this Bernina 790, and most newer Berninas today have this feature. But if you see right over here, it looks like a little dress form. That's called Creative Consultant. And I'm going to use that so the machine will set all my settings up to do applique with. So I'm going to touch Creative Consultant. And I'm going to select a medium woven fabric. And down here, this is applique. I'm going to touch applique. And then right here is all the suggested settings. An 80 needle, 40 weight thread, stitch 1309, the 34C foot, which I'm not going to be using that. And I'll show you why here just a moment. That's the foot that it recommends. And then once you're happy with all those, if you just press the green arrow, green check mark, what it has done is has adjusted all of my settings, the stitch width, the length, my needle position, all the way over to the to the right instead of being in the middle. Adjusted my upper thread tension. It set the foot to 34C, but I'm not going to be using that one tonight, and all the other settings. Now I'm going to modify this a little bit, but the foot that I'm going to use is the 20C foot. And to tell the machine which foot I have in, I'm just going to touch this little foot icon right here. And then I'm going to select the 20C foot, which is right here. That's the one that came with the machine. Then I'll just X out of that. And now notice over here, it has changed it from the 34C to the 20C foot. Okay. Now, the stitch width, for what I'm doing, I'm going to decrease that down to 3 millimeters instead of 3.5. Right there. And the stitch length, I'm also going to turn up to 3.5. And I will show you what that setting looks like, actually stitched out. Let me grab my other piece. And right there, you can see what that stitch looks like, stitched out. That is the settings I have. That's exactly how I have the machine set right now. Pretty cool. Okay. Please, everybody, feel free to comment in the comments section. I'll be watching that screen and answering questions. If you just want to chit chat, that's cool too. I'm gonna be here. This will probably be about an hour and a half to 2 hours tonight. I want to get as much of this applique on this small one done as I possibly can. Give me a drink of my coffee. And then I'm going to move the camera one more time, nice and slow. I'm going to try this and see if it will sit up there where I have it. There we go. And that's where I would like it to stay. We'll see if it stays there. Okay, so the thread I'm using, I'm using a 12 weight. This is what I'm using in my upper thread right here. It's a 12 weight cotton sulky thread. It's black. And then I'm using a 40 weight Wonderfill thread in my bobbin. Okay, in black as well. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on my laser pointer. This will show me exactly where my needle drop will be on this machine. You can probably see it. It just popped up right over here at the end of this pin right here. You can see it there. But anywho, I am going to pull me a little slack on this. I'm going to drop my presser foot. And I'm going to do needle up and down to bring my bobbin thread to the top. Just restarted my machine so all the settings would go back so I could show you how I was going to set the settings up for this. Okay. And now I am ready to stitch. And I'm using the foot control. Now the cool thing about this is the 20C foot. You can see it's a large open-toed foot for this 9mm stitch machine, 790 Pro Bernina. Excuse me. And what I have on is that laser light, which is the pinpoint needle laser, and it actually shows where it shines, exactly where your next stitch is going to hit. So it's super precise. I also have the foot set up for medium hover. So right now it's up about 1/8 of an inch, which makes it really nice because you can adjust your positioning super well. Now on these little narrow pieces like this, I'm actually going to turn my stitch width down to 2.5. There we go. And why I like this foot for applique, because this is all open right here. If I line up the edge of my applique, this is all wool, right up to, but not underneath, the toe on the right side of this foot, the needle will land exactly where I want it. Now right there, it went out further than where I want it, so I'm going to turn my hand wheel on the side of the machine away from me, and that kind of undoes that stitch. And right there is where my laser light, so I know that is where my stitch is going to drop, my needle. There it goes. And just by using my foot control, I can place these stitches exactly where I want them. And that is not what I wanted. I knew that was off. And I'm just going to bring this out and snip that because I do not want that there. Let's see where those go. There they are. There we go. We'll just do a do-over, about 2 stitches before that, and it will be fine. There we go. Right there. I did it again, everybody. Goodness. Let's just get that back out. There we go. We'll put that back to pattern begin. Let's see here. Right there. Okay, now we're good to go. There we go. Now we're set. But notice I can stop it very precisely, exactly where I want that needle to enter the fabric at. And that's what I'm after here. And if I wanted to digitize all of this in software, I could have done this in the hoop. But you know what? Sometimes I like to do applique where you use your hands instead of an embroidery hoop. There's something just satisfying about it, I find. Notice how I'm lining that up right along the inside edge of the toe of that foot. And since I set this one down to 2.5 millimeters in width, I'm just going to leave it there for this applique. And by turning the motor control slider down all the way to the left, which means it'll move as slow as possible, it's another way to really have control over your machine and where that needle is going to drop. You get very finite control over it that way. And sometimes just by letting it stop in that foot raise, if any fabric is under a bind a little bit right there, it'll automatically straighten out for you. There's really, to me, I find this very relaxing to do. And I just like to know that, I'm using my hands to control everything. Notice I left my little thread tail here so that I could tell where I start and stopped. On this fabric, it's pretty easy to see the stitches, but on some of this darker fabric I have in here, this darker wool, like this sewing machine cutout, yeah, it's very hard to see those stitches on that to tell, so I know where to stop sewing and cut the threads. It makes it super easy. There we go. I'm just going to cut my threads. It'll knot it on the back. Woohoo! There we go. So there's the outside of it. Now I got to stitch down the inside of that as well. So once again, I'll bring my bobbin thread to the top. And this is where a little pair of tweezers comes in handy, everyone. Where did my tweezers go? Ooh. Let's see here. They were right here. Let me come off the back. Oh, there they are. Okay. So, it's going to pull me some slack out. There we go. Ooh, now we're good to go. Okay. me check something right here. Let's see here. Right there. Alrighty. Let's keep on going. Everybody, I did not even get out of the house today, out of the studio. The weather was crappy. It was windy and cold, and the roads weren't in the best of shape, so I canceled my doctor's appointment, and I'll just have to, I just rescheduled that for next week. Blah, blah, blah. If I don't have to get out and it's cold and snowy and the roads are have yucky stuff on them, I don't get out of the house. There's no reason to. Yes, and see right there, that is fast. The way I have the machine set, it will not go any faster than that. Which, for this type of applique, this gives you total control where that needle is going to drop. I'm just pivoting right on around the edge of that wool. When that foot raises up a little bit, I can see underneath it, so I know where my wool, I know when to pivot because I can see where I'm coming at on that, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm just going to hold this to the side. Go. Now I can cut all my threads. If you're wondering what the back looks like, there it is. Yeah, that's where I had my little boo-boo at. I had to fix it a couple of times. It's okay. It's not going nowhere. We're going to do this sewing machine next. This one, it takes a little time. These shapes over here, those will go fairly quickly. This is probably one of the most time-consuming ones. And I haven't done one of these yet. But that's, I'm not sure how I'm going to, I might just straight stitch these down. Is what I'm thinking about doing after they're fused. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Right there. Alrighty, now we're ready to get started on this one. Now I do have another episode scheduled for tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and another one on Sunday night at 6 p.m. just so you know. I will have all of this applique, I should have all the applique done tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow night. Is what I'm thinking here. Sometimes you just have to like pivot it a whole bunch to get around these little tiny details and all. Just working our way around that little detail there. Oh, thanks, Mike. Alrighty. We're just rotating ourselves right on around. I'd already done one of these little sewing machines on the other piece, so I kind of knew what to expect this go round. And all this is just a process of rotating, and it's It's really vital. Whatever machine, if you're going to do this type of applique, you really need one that does at least the pivoting. In Bernina land, we call it hovering. That's basically a pivot setting on a machine. So basically, when your needle is down in the all the way to the right position, that's where you'd want to that is where you would hover at, okay? Or pivot. That's where you would pivot. It does take a lot of concentration when you're going around those little fine details like that. Hence me not talking all the way through that. Here we go. Let's come down this way. Now we'll pivot. Alrighty, there's another one that we'll still have to do the inside of that cutout there. Okay. And let me check something. Alrighty. Now then, let's do the inside of this space right here. That needs to be stitched down. I think you can probably see that laser light right there. See that red light on my fingernail? So where I've got that right on the very edge of that cutout. So it's hitting the background, I don't have it on top of that wool. I have it right up against the edge of it, because that's where I want my needle to drop. So needle up and down, pull up the bobbin thread, get your tweezies, oh come on you, there we go. Put it under that foot, and I can gently hold it in place. That'll help prevent any nesting from appearing on the back. And thread cutter, scissor button. And that's all stitched in. Woohoo! These other two will go fairly quickly compared to those last two. Alrighty, and on these two, the stress form, and this is part of the pin cushion, I'm actually going to, let's see here. I'm going to do the scissors first because that'll use the same settings, and on these two I'm going to increase my stitch width from 2.5 to 3. Okay. Here we go. Just having trouble keeping up with my tweezers tonight. Oh my goodness. Okay. I did nudge my motor control up just a hair, simply because I know there's some longer runs on this one. But I will slow it up when I get up to these points. Got to come down this way. One more stitch. There we go. Just a matter of slowly working your way around. Of course, here I'll definitely have to slow up because there's a lot of curves. And there's that part done. Woohoo. Now I have to go around the inside of those two little cutouts right there. That'll be fun. Yes, that'll be fun. Woohoo. Let's see. May as well start right there. Get the small one over with first. that bobbin thread pulled up to the top. And I like to tuck those two threads underneath the toe of that number 20C foot. That's called an open-toed foot, by the way, folks. In case you were wondering. Almost done with that little cutout there. Woohoo, that's been fun. There we go, almost there. One more stitch. And the thread cutting button. Okay. One more little detail here, and the scissors will be done and complete. Okay. I just like how precise. I like doing it this way because of the precision, as opposed to doing it. You know, some stuff I like to do in the hoop. Don't get me wrong, but the wool applique, no, I'm not going to do that in the hoop. Simply because if you have ever purchased wool, you know it's an investment. Let's just say it that way. And I want total control over the stitching when it comes to wool. It's just the way it's going to be. I like doing this. It does take time. It's not a fast way. Definitely faster than doing applique by hand, as far as that goes. And I think this has a really nice hand look to it. And I attribute that to this heavy thread that I'm using in the upper thread going through the needle, the 12 weight sulky thread. It's a cotton thread. Okay, there we go. Pull up that slack right there. Trim them even. That one's done. Woohoo. So now I'm going to turn my motor speed up just a hair. I'm going to do this piece here next. It's got some, this one will go much quicker. You'll see. It's those little pieces that take the most time, seems like. And it should. There's a lot more turning and twisting. So if you just get in, when you're doing applique like this, if you just get into the habit of pulling that bobbin thread up every time, it's going to solve a lot of problems for you. Okay, right there. And I'm going to widen this up from 2.5 to 3.0 on my stitch width. Here we go. So if you're watching and you're in near Minneapolis, Minnesota, I will have a live workshop at Quilters Haven Quilt Shop there in Rosemont, Minnesota, which is like a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul. I'll be there on January the 24th on that weekend. That is my next trip out. Super nice people there. I've talked to them on the phone several times. Looking forward to it. These will be some of the samples that I travel with. almost to the end of that. And see, that did not take long, did it? Here we go. Get that trimmed. You can see that one. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Alrighty, I'm going to get me some coffee. Hi, Linda. Linda, the inside, they're the same machine. The L890 Quilters Edition, however, you get a lot of freebies with it. You get over $1,600 worth of goodies with that, as opposed to the L890 with the black front on it, which is the one that I have. If you're thinking of getting one or the other, I would highly recommend getting the Quilters Edition. I'm really wanting one of those myself, even though I already have one. It's a wonderful serger. Whichever one you get, you'll love. I love mine. But yes, Linda, totally recommend the Quilters Edition because it's got like almost $400 worth of extra feet in it. It's got luggage. It has the Bloom and Grow quilt serger quilt kit. It has the serger quilting book with it, and a whole bunch of goodies. It's totally worth it. Okay, let's do the pin. Got the pin cushion up here next. And I just love the color scheme on it as well. It's just gorgeous. I just like to sew on mine. I mean, most of you that know me, you know I like to piece my quilt tops on my serger. I've been doing that for quite some time now. Long before I came to Bernina, I did that. And it's so easy to thread. Oh my gosh. Everything is right at your fingertips. Threading guides, threading videos, all the help you could need. Oh my goodness. About got all the fabric together to piece another quilt top on the serger. Linda, you would not be disappointed with either one, quite honestly. Woohoo, that one's done. But I'm getting ready to do a one block wonder and piece it entirely on my serger. Woohoo, that'll be fun. Okay, so all of those up there are stitched. Now I have this bottom half here to do. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 dress forms, a sewing needle, a spool, and a thimble. So I'm going to do these small ones next and get those out of the way. Right there. Linda, if you do end up getting one, make sure you get the C27 foot. That's the clear foot. You'll want that foot, trust me. I use that one and the C23 a lot, the 2 clear feet. But on that Quilter's edition, the luggage that comes with it, that's like a $524 value. I mean, if you're going to buy the luggage just itself, that's what most retailers charge for it. And that's included with that one. That's one of the gifts in it. And that little spool has been stitched down now. Okay, let's do the thimble next. Then when I get to this little wool sliver here, it's a needle, I'm actually going to drop down my stitch width back down to 2.5 or maybe even a little smaller. Okay, right there. All I'm doing there is touching the needle up, the needle down, and the needle up button. Doing the thimble. It's done with a herringbone wool is what it's cut out. Fabric that was cut for it. There we go. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. So good to see you on here. Hope y'all are doing okay. Okay. Next, this little dude right here. Woohoo! Look how tidy that is. So, I think I'm actually going to go down to like 2mm stitch width on that. Yeah, I think so. Needle down, needle up. Okay. Alrighty. Another one bites the dust. Woohoo. Alrighty, there we go. So there's that. Now then, dress forms. Okay, I'm gonna do a drink of coffee here. I need some coffee. Now I'm going to go back up to my 3mm stitch width. Okay. I'll do this one next. I'm just going to work my way over that way. Needle down, needle up. Pull that bobbin thread up. Woohoo! Pivot and rotate, pivot and rotate, hover, hover. I'm being silly, everyone. What I'm doing, I'm just running that needle right along the edge of that wool applique. When it's going down over here, right there, it is not going through the wool, it's just going into the background fabric. So that needle should just be kissing. Hold on, get a pointer here. That needle is just kissing this raw edge of this wool as it comes around. When the needle is all the way to the right and it goes down, it is not going through wool at that point. It's just going through this backing fabric. They also make a 20D foot, which means you could engage the dual feed on it. I think that would be a very useful foot to do wool applique with as well. I will pick one of those up sometime here soon and we'll play with that. Now, when I go to the next one, I'm going to, since this is Feature Friday, I'm going to use another applique foot as well on these other three here. So we'll be going over some of the different feet. I've played with them all. I like this one the best. If I had the 34D, that would be a contender. I have a 34 foot, but it's not for this 9mm machine. It's for a 5.5mm. Okay. We go, come on around. Okay. Okay, so that was with the 20D foot, the 20C I mean, this one right here, 20C. You can see it has a nice wide 9mm opening. Now this foot is the 23. It's actually called the applique foot because on the bottom of it there is a groove and a channel for the edge of the applique to go through. Okay, so we're going to try that one. I'll have to change my setting and move it from a 23C foot to just a 23 foot. Do that. .23. Okay, now the machine knows what I have in store for it. Okay. And we'll do this one here with it. There we go. And we'll do needle up and down, needle down, needle up. Get that bobbin thread pulled up. There we go. Just a minute here. It wanted to act up on me. We'll just start that over. We'll just start that one over. Pull that thread up. There we go. Now we'll give that another go. Now the good thing about this, you can see through the foot. I do have to say this, I like the other foot better. I'm going to do this one entirely on this one here. Just personal preference. And this foot, since it was made for a 5.5mm, that's what it really needs to make a perfect stitch. It needs a 5.5mm stitch plate. On this machine, I only have one for a 9mm width. Hence, there's nothing wrong with the stitching, mind you. It would just look a little better if I had that stitch plate on. So, fun fact, Bernina machines, like this is a 790. If the machine number ends in a 0, that means it has a 9mm feed dog system. If it ends in a 5, that means it has a 5.5mm feed dog system in it. cool, I thought. A nice little factoid. My little puppy is snoring. His little bed's under my table here. He is really sawing logs. He likes to stay close to me when I'm home. It's hard on little dogs or any pet for a baby when you travel a lot. As you can tell, I'm sure, it's taking a little longer to get around it. That's just because I changed feet. Blah, blah, blah. I will say this applique foot is very precise and does do a beautiful stitch. Oh my goodness, Puffiny is just... he is really sawing them logs tonight. Okay. Now we're going to swap back onto that 20C that I was using earlier. There we go. Alrighty. Got 2 more pieces to go, everybody. 2 more pieces. And then we will have this section done for tonight. And remember, last night when I was laying a lot of this out and I was doing all the fusing, there's a second round of applique because of how some appliques overlap each other. Yeah, so that's what I will be doing tomorrow night. I will get everything fused back down. And, well, I did not pull up my thread, everybody. Got concentrated on what I was talking about. Raise that presser foot up. We'll just start that one over. It's all good. There we go. Okay. Now we're good. But yes, I think from where I'm at right now, all the applique will be done at the end of tomorrow's episode. And it's possible on Sunday night we'll actually start quilting this on this machine. I haven't decided exactly yet how I am going to quilt these. I guess I'll have to be thinking about that pretty hard, eh? There we go. Hold up that bobbin thread. Let's get the next one done. Here we go. At any rate, there was probably about, if I get to where I think I'll be tomorrow night, I'm thinking that I might be done with these maybe in about three more episodes. I think. For this project, I definitely do prefer this number 20 foot for my applique. The other foot I was using was really more designed for doing satin stitch applique, narrow satin stitch applique. In my humble opinion. wool, it has such a give to it. You just have to experiment and see what works best. Sometimes just the shape of the applique could change which foot you might want to use. So what I do, before I start doing this on my real piece, as I am trimming, I save little wool scraps to do test sews with, and to adjust stitch width and stitch length and all that fun stuff. For instance, here's just a piece of scrap where I was just playing with settings. You can see that there. These are wool on top of this little quilt sandwich. This is just where I was testing out stitches and settings. But that's how I get to the point where I know what I'm going to have it set at. Alrighty. Now then, let's get those threads trimmed. Then I have this one here, and then I'll have everything I have fused will be stitched down. Then before we go tonight, I'm going to show you what I'm going to fuse on top of this one next, and that's what we'll be stitching down tomorrow night. Right there. And just slowly moving right on down this little detail, all these cute little details here. The actual feet on a dress form. Here we go. moving right on it. It does take time to go around those little pieces like that, but boy, it is so worth the effort. Because I know the camera is not doing this justice as to how awesome it looks. This is a tiny little piece to go around here. The saving grace for this is that it's not satin stitch applique, everyone. Because that would not, with all these little details, that would not be pretty. That is something you definitely, if you're going to do satin stitch applique, gosh, I recommend doing that in a hoop. I'm not a big fan of satin stitch applique myself. Almost done with that. Working my way around that little tight curve there. There we go. Woohoo. Alrighty. There is that trimmed. Now then, as a preview for tomorrow night, let me get a wider view on this. There we go. What I have to add to this one are just 3 more little applique pieces. Where'd that one go? I dropped one. Where did you go? It's a small piece too. Come here, you. Okay. Anyway, I have the top that goes on this little piece right here. Then I have this that will go about right here. And this is one that they wanted it like to overlap. Well, I'm probably not going to do that after thinking about it. It's going to go about right here. Right there. And then this little white, what would have been a frame for like a hoop skirt, that will go right up here, like so. I think. Nope, it goes over here. It goes over here in the middle, I believe. Yes, it does. Right there. That will go right there. And this will go right here. So that will have to overlap a little to give that one room there. But there is how that will go. So there's the 2 big things. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to applique this filigree thing down. But that is for tomorrow night. Woohoo. And then I also have to applique down this right here, this twill tape. This is cotton, like a cotton ribbon twill type of tape, cross grain. It will be stitched down right up here on that seam line, right there like that. Okay, that's what we'll be doing tomorrow night and getting everything prepped for Sunday for quilting. Woohoo! Yay! Alrighty. Then after saying all that, there's no more than 3 more episodes left, everybody, for this project. Yay. We'll have it done before Christmas. Woohoo. All right, let me swap out cameras here. Here we go. Hello there. Okay. Woohoo. Let me get this out of my way. Okay. There we go. So, and if you're wondering what that other one looks like, here it is, everybody. I have some more pieces to add to this one as well, but there is it. There it is. Let me just back up a little bit here. There we go. It's really turning out nice. Very happy, very pleased with it. And there's so much to that one. That one I'm doing off camera because this one took almost 2 hours. I've spent about 6 hours doing this, everybody, and I didn't want to do that on camera. There's no need to. So I will see everybody tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for episode 5 of our Adventures in Wool. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate you.